everybody, this is Trisha, Inky Planner. Welcome back to my channel. I wanted to do a slightly different type of Plan With Me video today in hopes that maybe some organizational tips and my systems for keeping events and tasks straight. Maybe there's somebody out there that would, that would also work for. That would say, oh my gosh, I could totally apply that in my life as well. So this will be a lot less about the decorating and the style, because that's personal anyway, and whatever appeals to you or looks good to you is all that matters. But as far as the process and the organizational system behind the planning, I was hoping that a video like this might give another perspective and might be valuable for everybody who's watching. So if that interests you, stick with me. If you'd rather skip to the fun decorating stuff, then I'll hope to have another actual Plan With Me coming out soon. So let's get to it. I would say on my pages, the majority of the time, and this isn't a hard and fast rule, I like to keep things, open. I don't want to confine myself in any way, but the majority of the time, the main components on my week spread are events that are time or day specific, task lists, and then some tracking mechanisms. Things like tracking water intake, tracking meal plan, tracking any other miscellaneous day-to-day items. And that switches from week to week, but under the whole bucket of tracking. So I would say there's, again, events and calendar items, to-do lists, and tracking. That's what sort of lands on my page each week. So where do those things come from? I know there's lots of different ways to do this. People put sticky notes, on their pages going forward. A lot of people, I think, like I do, may use a digital calendar or more of a master calendar, and then they migrate to a more decorated, pretty calendar. So what I do is I use the iCal program that is just built into any Mac or iOS operating system. So an iPhone or an iPad or any desktop from Apple. So I'll open that up and let you take a peek. By no means is this going to be any sort of iCal tutorial, but just so you can see some of the features about it that appeal to me and why it's meaningful for me to have things in both places and where I don't find it to be redundant. So let me go ahead and pop that open and we'll take a look. So here I have my iPad and a couple of blank pieces of my A5 inserts from Plan to Create. And this is what I would look at to typically start a week. This is my current week that I have right now. So this reflects the page that I just showed you when I opened the video. And then I can slide forward. Oops, I can get my hand on there. I can slide forward to the next week and see what I have going on. And so here's a couple of the features. Again, I don't want this to be a tutorial on, how to use this. I'm sure there's plenty of videos out there that you could Google or even go to the Apple website. I don't know, but this it works really well for me for a bunch of reasons. For starters, you can see I've got a lot of different colors going on here. I have things color coded according to category. Everything in yellow are holidays or birthdays, all day events across the top that are specific to a day but don't necessarily have a time associated with them. And then they can be categorized as well. So, whether it's activities that my kids have going on, or whether it's doctor's appointments or something fitness related, I can kind of create my own buckets and decide how I want to break all that up. So that's one feature that I really like. The next feature that I really like about this is the portability. I do take my planner with me everywhere, but I don't necessarily have it, on the fly with me in a store or in a doctor's office or whatever. I have it in my purse, but a lot of times I leave it in the car. And it's a little bigger and a little bulkier. And also, if I'm checking out at a doctor's office and I'm booking an appointment for, next February, I don't have the pages in my planner for 2017 yet. Certainly not, I don't even have weekly pages for next month yet. So I can't flip to a page and put a sticky on that. So this is what I can do. I can open up my phone or open up an iPad if I happen to have that with me, which I usually do not. I usually do it on my phone. And I can flip to February whatever, and I can plunk in a doctor's appointment, and then it's written down. I don't have to worry about a sticky note in the bottom of my purse or one of those cards that the doctor fills out that I've got to then come home and transfer. It's there, it's in my calendar, and I know that when February rolls around, it will be there. So I really like sort of the portable access that I have to the calendar. It's available on my phone, on my iPad, on my desktop, everything. The other thing I really like is how it syncs in real time and across both my husband's devices and mine. So my husband can see instantaneously when I add something to the family calendar. If we have a dinner invitation for Friday night, and I accept and say, yeah, that sounds great, well, then he knows we have plans on Friday night the next time he looks in his phone. So it just works great for us for that. So for that reason, that's the reason I keep, or those couple of reasons are the reasons that I keep this calendar in addition to my paper planner, because it's better for my whole family, it's better for long range planning, and because of the portability and the fact that everything syncs together. So what I would do is take these events and translate them, migrate them onto the page, and I would put in, all day type events, put in timed events, and I use a multitude of methods. I use stickers, stamps, sometimes I use stencils for this, or ink blending, or I just write things in. So it doesn't really matter. I mix that up to keep it fresh every week, but all of these little elements and boxes that you see here on this digital format will get plunked onto these two white pages. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then I'll come back and you'll see, how I can migrate all of that data and information onto these two pages. And then I have it all at a glance. I don't need to scroll. And it's in a format that's pretty and appealing and something I like to have with me and something I like to refer to all week long. Okay, I am back, and I just wanted to show you, I translated or migrated, if you will. Let me get that glare out of there. All of the events from this week, October 3rd through the 9th. And you can see I went pretty literal. I kept it very simple and put everything onto my week on 2-page spread. And I did it very much like the calendar setup in iCal, just for purposes of this video especially. But I do use this format a lot. But I kept one section across the top, which I marked out with some washi tape and just a black line that I drew with pen. And I have all day events there, things that I don't necessarily care about a specific time. I just want to remember that it's happening that day or that it's a special holiday of some sort. And then below that, I sort of have a section, and I didn't define the bottom edge of it yet. I just sort of put in things that are more time specific throughout the course of my day that I need to, commitments I have that I need to be aware of as the day goes on time-wise. And I kind of went with a rainbow theme and just sort of mixed up. Very little decorative. Almost everything here is events. I threw a few little decorative bits in, but generally this is just the migration of events from iCal onto my page. So part B, or the second segment of my week on 2-page spread, is always my task list, my to-do list. And that is not something that I do too much in advance. I usually lay out a spot to put my tasks, and then I may drop in a few things throughout the week that I know I'll be able to get to based on where I'll be. So if I have an errand to run and I know I'm going to be in that part of town, then, I might put that on a specific day. But pretty much I wake up in the morning about an hour before the rest of my family. And that's a little bit of time for reflection, a little bit of time, for me to sit with my planner, sit with my, morning cup of club soda, and just kind of get my thoughts situated for the day and prepare myself for what the day has ahead. And a lot of that has to do with, okay, where am I going to have pockets of time that I can be productive, and what can I get done? Am I going to be around the house? So does that mean it's going to be a laundry day and a chore day and maybe clean out that linen closet kind of a day? Or am I going to be out and about in the car? So it's going to be a handful of errands. So I tackle that kind of day by day, but I also don't want to lose track of things that I know I need to get to at some point. So again, I use a task management app, and I'll pull that up so you guys can take a peek at it. Maybe you're familiar with it, maybe you're not. I really, really like it, and I have tried a lot of them. So let me pull it up and show you what it's like. Okay, I have my iPad back again, and this little green icon with the string tied around the finger is the Alarmed app. This app is called Alarmed. It's a free app. I have tried lots and lots of to-do lists, and this one seems to just fit right for me. I recommend seeing what's out there, talking to people who have other to-do lists if you want to try to go digital with this. But really, there's a lot of features about this one that are unique. It's robust enough to give me the features and flexibility that I need, but it is also simple enough that I'm not overcomplicating when I just have a very basic task. So let's talk about this. First of all, why don't I have my tasks on my calendar? I don't know how you guys feel about this, but for me, that gets really, really cluttered. Plus, the majority of my tasks are not locked in on a specific time. I may know that I need to pick up a prescription, or I may know that I need to get to the grocery store, but I'll fit it in when I can. It is not necessarily something that is committed at a certain time. So I don't want it locked into a time on my calendar or blocking out space for something else that I might want to put there. It also gets really, really cluttered, and it's sort of, I can no longer focus on the actual events that I have. And I also, they even slide from day to day. So not only they're not time specific, but I'll think that I'm going to try to get something done one day and it doesn't happen. So they slide to the next day. And so I really don't want them in my calendar at all. So I have always decided that I needed a separate place for tasks. But the whole post-it note system or jotting it down somewhere was not working because I was losing them, or I didn't have it handy, and then I would have multiple post-its going at the same time. That was driving me nuts. This app, I'll pop it open so you can see, is really simple. And here's some key features that I love about it. If you are on the iOS system, you can use Siri to speak your task in. So I'll just go ahead and do that so you can kind of see how that works. Remind me at 2 o'clock tomorrow to go to the grocery store. Okay, so what happens, you can see it says imported one reminder. And again, I'm not going to do a whole tutorial here, but you can see that it says go to the grocery store, and it does go in on a time. So you do have to set it at a certain time. However, because it's not on my calendar, I don't really care that I've set it for 2 o'clock. I just know that it'll pop up tomorrow to remind me at 2 o'clock, and if I get there, great. If I don't, I don't. But anyway, I do like the fact that you can speak in these tasks. So that's one wonderful thing. It actually, I think what happens is Siri puts it into the Apple Reminders app, and then this app talks to that and imports it from there. I think that's how it works. All I know is I can press the little button and talk, and it will add something to my to-do list. So I do enjoy that feature. Sorry about the glare from my horrible lights over my head here. Okay, the other thing that I really love about this is that it's snoozable. So I feel that a lot of my, with my crazy busy life and young kids and all that, I have really good intentions and I think I'm going to get things done, and I don't. So when an alert pops up and tells me, hey, it's time to go pick up the prescription, I happen to be home at that point and my daughter's taking a nap. Well, I can't leave to go pick up the prescription right that second. So I can snooze it. I can snooze it by tapping it and adding 5 minutes in increments. I could go hit that a couple times and it'll keep adding 5 minutes. So, okay, I'll go do that in 20 minutes. Or I can add an hour, or I can even snooze it, push it to the next day. And all of this I'm doing within the app, but when the alert just like comes up on the home screen of your phone, you can even snooze it from there without even having to launch the app open and edit the task. So I really like, not having to go in and like set a new time. I can just bump it forward, bump it by a day, bump it by an hour, bump it by 15 minutes, whatever. So that's huge for me because things are always sliding around in my life. This is a free app. I like that. I also like that it's very customizable. So if I want to set an appointment, or an alert, the third Monday of every month to pay a bill, I can do that. If I want to say that, remind me every other Tuesday to, at 2:00 for something. So there's a lot of customizability in here. But if you don't want to use any of that, it's as simple as speaking it in. So anyway, like I said, I really don't want to get into a whole huge tutorial on everything that's going on in here, but I really do like it. And if you're looking for a good task management app, poke around in here. It's free to download, play with it, see if you like it, and see how it works for you. So then what I do, that's my whole sales pitch on that. Don't ask me why. But then what I do is I sit down each morning and I look at the tasks that I have. Some are more urgent than others. Some are like someday things. Like, at some point I need to clean out that linen closet. But it doesn't necessarily have to happen today. I'm not on a huge schedule for that. Oh gosh, my light, sorry. And I can kind of look at my day and say, is this going to be the day, or is this going to be the weekend when I'm going to get that done? And that's when I would then write it onto my to-do list that I will add to my page. Let's let that focus. And I will say, okay, today's the day that I am going to stop and pick up my shoes. I have to take something to the tailor. I have to, get the laundry sorted, whatever it is that I know I'm going to tackle. And some of it comes from my head, but some of it comes from here, the things that I don't want to forget as well. And then this becomes my working version as I check things off and kind of look at my whole week and decide what I can get accomplished each day and throughout the week as a whole. I'm going to go ahead and add now what would be sort of a typical to-do section on my page. And again, usually when I'm done planning out my week, my to-dos are still mostly blank. I might drop in a few things here and there, but I don't know exactly which day I'm going to do what. That kind of gets filled in as the week goes on, based on how much time I think I'm going to have, based on what's happening with the kids and all that. So I'm just going to go ahead and drop in a home for those to-do checklists, and then I will be back. I have gone ahead and put all of my to-do lists, and again, for simplicity's sake, I have kept those across the bottom. I don't always do it this literal of a translation, but I just kind of wanted to see how the page kind of grows and builds with each of these components, so you put in the all-day events, you put in the timed events, you put in the to-do lists. And again, these will get filled in as next week unfolds, although I may drop in a couple things, like on Monday, I might write in order flowers for mom and dad, just because it'll be a reminder. I may not get it done, but it'll remind me at some point during the day to take a look at that. And so what I'm left with now is some of my tracking that I like to do. And I've got a little space left on the page for that. So I can do meal tracking or hydration tracking along the bottom here, or I could pop them in, at various places throughout the white space in the week. And I often do that. I will just stamp something in, or I'll use a sticker. There's lots of different ways to denote those things. So let me go ahead and put in some tracking. The ones that I almost always do are meal planning and hydration. Sometimes I throw others in there, but for this week, I'll just put those in. And then other than just adding my month and maybe some decorative stamping or washi across the top, then my week will be complete. Okay, here we are with my completed weekly spread. And hopefully the process of pulling this week together, just kind of gave you maybe ideas or insight as to the content of what makes it on the page and why, rather than, sort of the style or the layout in terms of decoration and stuff. I love all of that, do not get me wrong, but I think that for me, the most important part of my planner is having it work for me, having it be a functional tool that I use throughout the week. And every single day I am in here referring to this, where do I need to be today? What's my schedule look like? Where do I have little blocks of time where I can get things done? And this is just it's a great tool, but it works in concert with other tools that I use, as I mentioned throughout the video, a couple of digital programs, a task app and a calendar, as well as some tracking, stickers, and stamps and things like that. So at the end of the day, when I'm done sitting down for a planning session like this, it's super rewarding, not only because, I did this like very, very much by the book, and it's still, it comes out, I think, looking really pretty and really great. I like the bright colors. I like the balance, and not only is it rewarding because it's pretty and it's a creative outlet, but I feel like I am ready to tackle the week. I mean, I know exactly what's on my plate. I know where I can, fill things in if I need to, and where I am like booked all day. So it's, some days it's like, don't even call me on Tuesdays because I'm going to be crazy. It's good to have a grasp of what's going on in your life, or at least for me, it just really is meaningful. And that's why I have fallen so in love with this whole concept of creating my paper planner and migrating the digital stuff right down here in front of me where I can get a good look at it. So I really, really hope this was helpful, and I hope I didn't babble on too much or get too crazy with some of the technology aspects. I really appreciate anybody who watches the video. It's always so great to get comments and likes, and for me to know that people are finding some value in the content that's going out on my channel. So thanks for being here with me today. I will be back with some more traditional decorative plan with me's shortly, and I'm also hoping to put out a tour of my new craft space, which I'm really, really enjoying and is working great for me. So keep your eyes peeled for those. And I also wanted to quickly mention that I did not go into any explanation about products today in terms of what I used on my page. If there's anything that you're interested in, or you want to know what the company is or where to get your hands on it, please just comment below. I'm happy to respond, and I always try to get to my comments, and I'm happy to provide links, but I was not really focused on the products. I didn't get into the details of what I was using, so I didn't mention them. I'm not going to go and link everything below. I was more focused on the process today, but of course I'm always happy to try to help people find products that they really like. So if you see something you like, go ahead and ask. Thanks again for being here. Everybody have a terrific day, and I'll see you next time.